for it. Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes, boa tarde, bonjour. Thank you for joining us from all over. And we are here today with David Lee, the founder of Cultural Cuba, where I had the chance to go myself. Voilà, right, recently. So, David, we have a fantastic subject theme today, because you're going to speak
yes.
all this. So I'll let you share your screen and we can start. So
okay, awesome.
So we
Vivian
are recording
just said she's jealous. So Vivian, the point is that's the whole point of this webinar. You don't have to be jealous. That's the objective here.
Yes.
We want you all to come. So
yes. Because I mean, you, David, you were already in love with the country, but me, I was there for the first time and I was like, wow. And it was unexpected. Not just a nice trip because we had great food, great hotel, great this, and great DMC, but wow, for the experience.
Yes.
And it looks like a lot if they have not been convincing their client yet to go to Cuba. It's mean definitely you need to try it yourself to be so enchanted that that's going to be a mission to sell it.
It's always beneficial. There's no way around it. It's always beneficial to sell something that you have experienced yourself. And you know your clients place their trust in you and your judgment. That's why they work with you. So of course it should be firsthand. It doesn't have to be, you know, second or third hand. So, all right, I'm going to share my screen.
Joanne, you said it's a wonderful destination, and Vivian says she's already packed. So, are we going to start soon? I actually don't know that presentation of yours, because this is a different subject than usual.
It is, but you know, you'll see some things that are familiar because I assume that many of the people.
Hello.
So anyway, okay. So yes. So some of you, I don't know how some of you may have seen some of our webinars. So a little bit of this, I just want to give some intro to us, of course, and then we'll talk mostly about the main subject matter of today's webinar, which is our familiarization trips, specifically, certainly for all of you. We really want to encourage you to come and not only see Cuba and why you know, I started this business, which was a passion project, literally, and but also see what we do, because it's, even if you've been to Cuba before but you haven't been with us, it's a different experience. So let me start here. I mean, for those of you who aren't as familiar, we of course are a full service destination management company, or as Virtuoso calls us, an on-site. And I do like that term on-site because it explains it a little more directly. The objective of, I think, of anyone who calls themselves a DMC should be that they are in country. They're in the location that they are promoting. And we are certainly based in Havana. Our operations team is there. We do not outsource to the Cuban government, unlike most people that tell you they do Cuba. I can assure you they're really just outsourcing. We have our own team on the ground in Havana, guides, drivers, vehicles, concierge staff, itinerary planning, everything, even our own in-house video and photography team as well. So next, just sit back, turn up the volume a little bit. A quick 90-second video is, you know, worth more words than I can possibly tell you. So let me give you a quick video intro.
On the track, boy.
Okay. So
I see me.
there you are. Yes.
Hey.
Yes. The magic of these things. I even I, you know, in full disclosure, like I'm not really making my you know, I have a team that helps me make these presentations, and I love that they're keeping everything very current, substituting in really good new photographs as much as possible from the latest trips that we have. So there you have it, Dominique, hot off the presses. So again, just getting back to what I was telling you about us, the point is, and we have heard this, I think, from some advisors that, you know, haven't sold Cuba with us before, that, you know, there's a lot of misnomer. Is it complicated? It's a location that's confusing and hard to do. And I just want to assure you, it couldn't be easier. Little more than an email or a phone call to us. We do it all soup to nuts, not only because we have to, especially for American clients, but it's just who we are and what we do. We take care of everything from, you know, start to finish. Everything is custom. Everyone is always VIP'd. This is who we cater to. We are only catering to the highest end, you know, the affluent, well-traveled clientele. Basically, it's your clientele. That's what we do. And we only work with travel advisors for B2B. So you are our outside sales force completely. And like I said, everything from start to finish, from the moment you arrive, VIP everything, VIP arrival at the airport. No one waits in any lines. All travel documents and visas are handled and provided by us. Everyone has a full-time private guide, private driver, vehicle, completely custom itineraries, the most luxe accommodations, and we can go over the varieties that are available there. And again, start to finish, from the time that you arrive to the time you leave, this is what we do. It is an ideal destination for everyone. Can't stress it enough. It's always been very popular with couples, and also, you know, adult trips, groups, like groups of guys trips, ladies trips as well. One of the biggest growing areas for us, though, honestly, is multi-gen, because as you could kind of get a feel for with that video, there's so much to see and do and experience for everyone. Everybody is happy. The kids are happy. The teenagers are happy. Parents, grandparents. It's just one of those places that no one will ever forget. And like I said, it's just, there's just excitement and adventure from start to finish. It's that kind of trip. And because we design everything around your clients and who they are, what they like, not only what they enjoy, what they like to see and do, but their pace, how they like to travel. And so that's the whole point. And that actually kind of honestly is the true luxury, is the total customization of this kind of thing from start to finish. So also, by the way, if you don't already know, I mean, it is so close to the United States. It's literally, the only reason it's a 50-minute flight from Miami is just because it takes that long to get up in the air and get back down. It's only 90 miles. So for your East Coast clients, there are nonstop flights now from several different departures. Now, there's like 8 of them from Florida a day. There's also nonstops from JFK. Atlanta will be coming back on board. They'll have a nonstop. Boston, I think once a week they have a nonstop. Houston's coming back. They'll have a nonstop. So it just couldn't be an easier, you know, place to get to. Quick word on this, because for the American travel agents that are on here, and those of you who primarily sell to US citizens, there is this idea, of course, that, you know, can you go to Cuba? Is it legal? You know, and if it is, like, how does that work? I just want to be very clear. It is true that as a US citizen currently, you cannot be, quote unquote, just a tourist. But we are what's called a Support for the Cuban People company. Support for the Cuban people, from the standpoint of the US government, really what they want to make sure is that the vast majority of money any US citizen spends while traveling in Cuba is going to the people of Cuba primarily, and not the Cuban government. That's really the gist of it. It's more complicated if you get into the legalese of the Treasury Department, but the fact of the matter is, support for the Cuban people, I don't care where your politics lies, that is something everybody can get behind. And we as a company, that's our entire mission statement. It's why I created the business. It doesn't matter to me whether the clients are US or non-US. We are a support for the Cuban people company to the extent that now all of our profits, beyond even what it takes for us to put our trips together, goes back to this whole mission of supporting the people. So first of all, we don't outsource to the Cuban government. It's our guides, drivers, vehicles, right? Concierge staff, everybody in our own office. Therefore, right just from the get-go, with that in mind, almost most of the money goes toward the people. In addition to that, what appears on your itinerary, your clients' itineraries, will be private restaurants. Again, not run by the Cuban government. The people that they'll meet along the way, also, again, never going through the Cuban government's travel agency or their programming. And then beyond that, our margins go back into a variety of projects that we fully fund. One of them is a preschool for disadvantaged youth who live in Old Havana. Children, these are children aged 2 to 5, come to our preschool. It's operated like you would a private Head Start preschool in the United States, except it's free of charge for these little children in Old Havana. And then we also have a dance school. This is for children aged 6 to 16. And when they graduate from our dance school, they can try out to be part of our professional touring company. So those are our two biggest projects that we have right now, but we're continuing to explore. And as our company expands and we have more of your wonderful clients traveling, we'll have a bigger funding base to continue, exploring other projects. And by the way, before I leave this slide, we love it when the clients get to experience this. We invite them, again, all of our itineraries are custom, so nothing is mandatory, but we let them know about these projects that we do, and you will let them know. And we invite them to come and visit the preschool. It's a half-hour visit. It's not a big deal. It's right in Old Havana. We'll invite them to visit the dance company. In fact, the dance company ends up being on a lot of our itineraries because most people are quite excited about it. They're very exciting to see. But this is just what we do. And this idea of sustainable, positive, travel with a purpose, it's everything to us, and we really hope that it continues to grow all the way throughout the world. But again, the point is when anybody travels with us, it's a big part of it. I mentioned this earlier, but we are B2B 100%. We focus on you. Your clients can find our website, but in there, they'll see some general information about Cuba and some beautiful pictures. But everything that's important about booking travel with us is in our travel advisor portal. And that's where you will see all of the details, exclusive experiences, some sample itineraries. We don't have any of that on our normal website. So if people Google Cuba and end up there, they won't see that. So for all of you who are now on this webinar, if you haven't already, after this call, please go to our website, culturalcuba.com, and just subscribe to the portal. It takes literally 10 seconds. We'll send you a password for you to get into it. But at the end of the day, because of, we go through you come to us with as much information as you can about your clients and what they're interested in doing. We will be happy to jump on sales calls with you and the client. It's a true partnership, and we'll turn around proposals as quickly as possible. Sometimes, as fast as 24, 48 hours. That's usually our goal. We will build in a commission, or we're happy to do it net and then add commission. We'll send it to you with your logo on our proposals also, so that you can whisk them off to your clients and make it very, very simple and seamless. Like I said, again, we take care of it all. It is, we take the mystery out of it. We take the guesswork. We make it simple and seamless. And again, it's totally custom. So none of this mandatory itinerary kind of situation. But now let's jump right into the headline of this whole thing is that, I can talk about this stuff till I'm blue in the face, and I do, and I'm happy to do that all the time. And I get on calls with many of you and your clients, and we do all these webinars. But let's face it, at the end of the day, we really want you to come. We do. It's critical. It's important. So we're offering two different opportunities for you to do so. The first one is literally what we're calling a private FAM. And by private, we really mean, you choose when you want to go. You can invite a significant other to come with you. You're going to pick the dates. And, so we're saying it's for a minimum of 2 people, and I'll get more into the details. But we want to prepare basically a trip for you that is the same type of trip. This isn't going to be something that different. It's like our whole idea is that we want this to be you to experience what your clients are going to experience. That's it from start to finish, even the customization. So what we're offering is a 4-night FAM with, of course, luxury accommodations, and we'll talk more about that. But and it will include, everything, like I said, that we do from start to finish. The visa services, you'll have a private full-time guide, you'll have a private driver, you'll be in one of our fleet. We have our own fleet of 1950s cars they're gorgeous, they're retro modified, so they have air conditioning put into them. But you'll be in one of those. We'll do, like I said, again, fully customized all of your activities and experiences on your itinerary that you will also have a hand in building. And we'll do this for you again, just like we would do for your clients, the same kind of wow experience. You will dine only in these private restaurants, which, as Dominique has experienced, Cuba is a culinary destination now. Forget anything you've heard from anyone else who's been there, who might say that it's not good food. They haven't traveled with us, or they haven't traveled, let's say, in the last 5 years.
It was amazing, David, really. Yeah. Every day, every place you picked was great.
And exactly. And it is, this is the thing. It's not only part of support for the Cuban people, but this concept of paladar. This is what really is a private restaurant. It started out as a table in someone's kitchen. The Cuban government wanted to allow individuals, a certain amount of, let's call it small business, small entrepreneurship to exist. And restaurants was an easy way to do that. So they started allowing people to have a little bit of, open up a restaurant in their home. Over the course of the last, 4 or 5 years, this has really expanded quite a bit. It is still a home. In order to be a paladar, you have to, like, the family who runs it lives in the home. They'll either convert their whole ground floor into a restaurant and they'll live upstairs, or if it's an apartment, they'll have an adjoining apartment next door. Often it looks like a home when you're coming in from the outside, but as soon as you get inside, it's a restaurant. But these are where the best food in Cuba is being served. So it's not just the fact that it's a support for the Cuban people situation. It is simply where, every meal will be an adventure. They're always organic, not only because that's the fashion, but the fact is, to be a paladar and succeed, you have to have your own or a relationship with a private organic farm that brings you produce every day. You have to have a fisherman who brings you his fresh catch every day. That's the only way it works. And also the menus change daily. So I could go on, I could do a whole nother, and I have a whole webinar just about the paladars, but again, big part of your experience. So every meal you'll be having in a different paladar. You'll of course have walking tours of Old Havana. You'll have a private rum tasting with the director of Havana Club himself with a cigar pairing. You'll be in our classic convertibles with a professional photo shoot. Day trips will also be part of this. So it's not all Havana. We'll get you out into the countryside. You'll have a choice of some of the locations, because keep in mind, the stuff I'm mentioning is just like a sample of what you're going to experience over the course of the 4-day trip. But every FAM we do, every private FAM will be somewhat customized based on you and what you're all about and what you want to see and do. We're going to stretch you. We're going to convince you to see some things that might be a little bit out of your comfort zone or something you wouldn't normally pick, because again, we want you to experience as much as possible and come back and be able to tell this to your client base. But again, it's all about you understanding not only when you're in Cuba, but how it is to work with us from start to finish. So quick thing on the logistics of this, since I mentioned it's a private FAM. You come to us, you pick the dates. We would prefer certainly a minimum of 30 days notice. These days everything is shortening. I think if you had talked to me about this pre-COVID, I would have said minimum of 60. But anyway, we certainly can put it together with 30 days notice. The key thing here is you are invited as a travel advisor, but, and we know this, we know it's, you're traveling a lot, and sometimes it's difficult to make these things happen and be able to travel without your significant other. We're inviting you to bring your significant other on this trip. You choose spouse, good friend, someone, a traveling companion that you like to work with. Does not have to be a travel advisor as long as they share your room. And the price will be the same for both of you. We also, of course, because I know a lot of travel advisors like to travel with other travel advisor friends that you're used to traveling with, definitely encourage you to put together your own little travel advisor group. And that travel advisor, if they go along with you, they can also bring a significant other. So doesn't have to be just 2 people, but our requirement is a minimum of 2 for each trip. So this isn't a solo trip. We also require that everyone going on your private FAM has to fly in and out of Havana on the same flight. So if you're flying nonstop, great, whether it's from Fort Lauderdale or Miami or New York, or if you're doing a connection, the point is you could meet in the city you're connecting, but the flight into Havana and coming back has to be the same, because your private guide and driver is picking you up at the airport. It's not one of these things where you're just getting yourself to, the hotel and then eventually your guide will meet you there. That's not how we operate. You are VIP'd from the moment you land. You come off the jetway. There's someone there with a sign with your name on it. You're whisked through customs. You wait in the VIP lounge, sipping on mojitos while they bring your luggage to you. You come out, the sliding doors open, and your guide and driver are waiting to take you off on your adventure. This will include, like I said, everything. Your visas will be sent to you by FedEx prior to let's just say about a week prior to travel. Right now, there's still this antigen testing required for re-entry into the USA. I know you probably all have certainly heard this news by now. They've already lifted the whole mask mandate. You don't even have to fly with masks anymore. We're thinking this antigen test is the next one to go. We're not sure exactly when, but rumor has it that's going to happen. So it may not even be an issue. But right now, we are including antigen testing. It's done in the comfort of your hotel on the morning of your departure. So that's part of, is included. Basically, everything in your trip will be included in this, aside from the cost of lunches and dinners. The reason we don't include the meals, quite frankly, is we don't want you to be on a prefix. We want you to order off menu, like your clients will be doing when they travel. But we will go over very, very detailed with you about how much cash you'll need to bring with you to pay for lunches and dinners, and it's US dollars. You don't have to convert. All of the places, the private restaurants that you go to will accept US dollars. They're not expensive. That's kind of the key thing to note also. What it would cost you in one meal in any US city will be your entire day's worth of food and drink at the nicest restaurants in town while you're in Cuba. Pricing. So this is basically, and again, because we are a custom company, our pricing does change for your clients' trips, again, based on, factors like seasonality and when they travel and when, how big their group is and that sort of thing. But we're fixing the pricing for this. It is, just so you have an idea, it is roughly about 65 to 70% less than what it would cost your client to do the same special trip that you're going to be going on. So that's this pricing that you're seeing right here. Again, this is right now for the dates between May 1st and December 15th. You simply reach out to us, contact us with, when you want to go and a little bit about what you're looking to do. and we'll get back to you. There might be some blackout dates, and we'll go over that with you, but for the most part, it's pretty wide open. Okay, the second option, and we are doing several of these. This year, we have some that are coming up early next year also, but of course, we love to do agency exclusive FAMS as well. And, if that's something you're interested in and your agency right now is not offering a Cultural Cuba FAM, just please get us introduced to whoever it is at your agency that is in charge of these. I know some agencies call them educationals. Whoever it is, let them know that you would be interested, and then make an introduction to us. We'll reach out to them to talk about it. The difference is, obviously, agency FAMs are exclusive. There only will be agents from your agency. They're a little bit larger. We usually have a minimum of 6, max 8. They're never very big trips. We like that group size, 6 to 8. The other difference is they will include all the meals. It's just easier that way with a slightly larger group. But basically, other than that, same kind of, same wow trip that we would do for a private FAM. Most everything would be very, very similar, but it's fun. There's no question about it. This is a more the merrier kind of destination. So even if you're doing a private FAM, I would encourage you to invite, other travel agent friends and make your group a little bit bigger than 2. But again, this is something we're also really encouraging. So we already have some agencies that have this is already planned, and you should check and see if your agency is doing one with us. But again, we'd love it if you make an introduction for us to them. Okay, again, next steps. If you don't have this, please take a quick screenshot or write this down. Just send an email to Liza at culturalcuba.com. And even if you don't know exactly what dates right now, but you're just very interested in getting something going, just reach out. Don't hesitate. The sooner we kind of move it forward and get you scheduled, the better. Okay. I'm going to come back on screen, and if we need, it's already been about 30 minutes. And I can answer questions, and if we want to get into any more detail, I can always share my screen again. So.
Perfect. Thank you very much, David. We do have some questions.
Okay, great.
Alors, how is Sima is asking, how is the visa situation for US citizen? How long does it take and how much does it cost? But I guess are the museum and art scene fully open? But that's why we use you. You take care of everything, and everything is open for you.
Right. Well, first of all, the visas, it's a great question, and that's my point. I mean, we include the visas. We do have a contract with the Cuban government in the sense that enables us to write the visas right here in our US sales office, which is why we provide the visas for you. And FedEx them to you before you travel. So it's included in our trips. International clients, so if you're flying into Cuba from outside the US, you will actually get your visa at the point of, at the airport. It's basically the same visa. They're really tourist cards, by the way. I mean, they use the term visa. This isn't the same kind of visa that you might think of in some countries where you have to send in your passport and it's a whole big long procedure. With us, you really just need to send us a photo, like a photo with your smartphone of your passport page. That's all the information we need to get a visa for you. And like I said, we provide it. So it's very, very, very simple. What was the other question on museums and things being open?
Yes.
Cuba, Cuba was shut down for 2 years due to COVID. Well, 20 months to be specific, but since end of November, it reopened, and now at this point, it is back alive. And the bars and restaurants are all open, nightclubs are open, museums are open. The streets it's like I said, it's full of the color and vitality that you would expect. So
really, when we were there in the end of February, and it was already like vibrant in the street, it was kind of back to normal, I would think. But it was
almost.
I don't know what was normal, but it was like, so lively. Huh?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So we have another question. What do you suggest would be the maximum number for a small group incentive?
For an incentive,
Mhm.
like mice, you mean like a client's kind of incentive trip? Is that what you mean? If
I
I
would
can ask a
think so.
clarifying question.
Well, the question is a small group incentive. I would think that's probably incentive from
So
the
I'll tell you the truth. Group size for us anyway, again, because everything we do is custom, it can be as small as 2 people and as big as you want it to be. And we've done it all. So we've had mice type groups that are over 100 people, which would in first blush would be like, oh God, that's way too big. But the way we do it is we always take a group like that and we break it up. So a group of 100 would end up being like 5 to 6 guides during the day, and they would be broken up into smaller groups because we do not want anyone to be touring in such large groups. But then they would come together. We would buy out restaurants, and every night they would all come together and be able to share their experiences with each other. Everyone at the end of a trip would be on the same itinerary. So, that's kind of how we do it. So group size doesn't matter. Ideal, if you want to think of an ideal size group, if you're trying to limit it, it's like the FAM trips that we would do for agencies. 6 to 8 is a perfect number. Or say, let's just say 6 to 10. I think that's kind of an ideal size, that it's the right size to have one guide for the entire group. Everyone's together in one vehicle. For groups of that size, we will use like a Mercedes Sprinter kind of vehicle for a lot of the touring, but always everyone will have plenty of experience driving around in our classic cars. It's important. I mean, it's part of the Cuban experience. So
I see, Sima, you're asking if there is any pre-made itineraries that you can share with us, roughly how much it costs. But I guess that's 2 things. There is the FAM cost, and then there is the client. But you mentioned it would be 65% more for the clients, roughly.
Approximately, yes. I mean, so if you're talking about how much do our trips cost, again, because we are a custom company, we don't, everything is created. The proposals are created for you, for your clients. You come to us, you tell us as much information as you can about them, how many people, when they want to travel. We talk about the different types of accommodations that are available, and the things that affect price for us. Number of people, time of year, there's some seasonality to this business, the number of days they're spending, and of course, where they're staying, right? But once we have all that, we will then come back very quickly with a proposal. In general, you can, just to give you a rule of thumb, our trips, like I said, remember, these are soup to nuts. Everything is included. 90% of any money your clients will be spending on their travel is safely paid by a credit card with us. It's so you're comparing, apples and apples, and not comparing it just to what accommodations might cost. But it usually comes in around, say, $650 to $1,000 per person per night, something like that for our travel.
Clients.
For the clients, yes. I thought the question was for the clients.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just repeating.
Yeah, the FAM trip, I already put the price on there.
Yes,
the FAM trip's a separate thing altogether, and because it's a FAM, that's why we're giving you a stated price in advance. When it comes to the clients, you first come to us and we generate a proposal. We're a custom FIT company. You're not going to go onto our website and see, like I said, a cookie cutter itinerary with a trip with a price. That's not who we are. And that's just not the kind of clientele we're catering to either, to be quite honest. And if we did that, I'll be honest, remember, we're a B2B company. We're selling through you, a luxury travel advisor. We're not trying to be a company where your clients can come to our website and book a trip with us. We're not Expedia. This is the point. They need you. They can't work with us unless they go to you, and you come to us.
And you're the best. So.
We are the best. Yes. I will say it. You can question whether I can be completely subjective, but yes, we're in our own class. We're in a league by ourselves. But again, this is what we do. So your question about itineraries, because I think they also asked about, do you have itineraries in the portal? You need our password. You got to register for our portal, and then in the portal we do have sample itineraries. The reason, again, the reason we only have that in the portal is because we don't want your clients to get to our website and start pulling up itineraries and thinking that this is going to be their trip and that they could book with us. They can't. They've got to go through you. And we're careful also about itineraries because we are a custom company. So if we show someone a sample, we want to make sure, and we need you to do that, to let them know this is a sample. If you don't like something on this itinerary, or this is not what you were thinking, or the type of travel you like to do, or it looks too busy or not busy enough, doesn't matter, because their trip is going to be created just for them.
Thank you, David. Sima is also asking,
Yes.
are you using the hotel or private residence as well? Huh?
Both.
Huh?
So again, this is something that's important. We go through this very carefully with you. There are now true 5-star hotels in Cuba. Quite frankly, there's really the best one is the Kempinski Manzana. They actually have 2 properties in Havana and now 1 at the beach. The sister property is actually a little bit, let's call it 4.5 star versus the other property, which is 5 stars. So we have a couple of price points to work with the Kempinski, but they're both in great locations. And this is for the client that wants that full 5-star with all the amenities, a beautiful rooftop pool, perfect location, a gorgeous cigar smoking room, a full spa, nice, fitness facility. It's the picture that's behind Dominique is the front of the Kempinski Hotel. So you will stay there when you go on the FAM trip. You will stay there. And the other option with us would be a boutique hotel. We have villas as well, but we are not a company that's doing Airbnbs. Again, I want to be very clear on this. There has been a lot of talk about people coming to Cuba and staying in someone's private home, like an Airbnb. Let's just be again, very straightforward. Okay. If your clients are not staying in Airbnbs when they travel to a first world country like Paris, like France, right? Or anywhere in Europe, and they're not staying in Airbnbs, let me be clear. Why the hell would they stay in an Airbnb in a third world country like Cuba? So I'm sorry, we're not catering to people who are backpacking and if they're on that small of a budget, they're probably not your client. And I don't care if they heard from a friend or a family member that they had a great trip and stayed in an Airbnb in Cuba. This is a place where the infrastructure is, and you'll see it when you're there firsthand. These buildings are falling down left and right. The infrastructure is in sore need of repair in a lot of locations. And what you'll see on an Airbnb posting is a beautifully painted and somewhat renovated kind of, apartment. They're not going to show you the stairwell going up to it and the fact that there's no railings and every third stair is broken. They're not going to show you that it's on the 15th floor of a building that requires an elevator and every day the elevator is basically broken. It's not the location for that. So for clients that want something different other than the larger hotel, we have boutique hotels. And these are like small leading hotel of the world kind of quality. They're mansions that have been painstakingly renovated, filled with Cuban art. They're very small. They might have 6 to 10 rooms. Think of them more like bed and breakfasts. Wonderful experience to stay in these places. Dominique also visited one of the ones that we worked with.
But we have lunch there.
Gorgeous. And here's the thing: for the right client, that's where we want to put them, and not necessarily in the Kempinski. Or for some clients, we'll mix it up. We'll have them move and experience one of the small boutiques as well as staying in the Kempinski, because it's different locations. But that's how we do it. And again, it's all based on your client. A boutique hotel doesn't have a rooftop pool, doesn't have a cigar smoking room, doesn't have, a spa, fitness facility. Obviously, there are trade-offs. So it has to be presented properly, and so it's the right client, what they're looking for. And that's kind of the variety for us. We do have some villas also, by the way, but only a few. If you've ever heard, oh, there's a lot of nice villas in Cuba, no, that's a complete exaggeration. Not of the quality that we would put any of your clients in. There's only a few really, really good villas, and to be quite honest, there's not a lot of reason to stay in a villa with a private chef, because then you're missing out on all of these amazing paladars. That's part of the Cuban experience. So we really use villas for like very special groups, like a birthday party group. We've had some celebrity groups that really didn't want to be, you know, obviously for confidentiality, they want to be more exclusive, you know, an exclusionary kind of area. Then we'll put them in a villa, or we'll buy out one of the boutique hotels, as the case may be. So
David, we have to
that
move
pretty
in
much covers it.
because I see a lot of message coming in. So Sima was asking San Francisco flight. I don't think you mentioned it, but there is not yet. Huh?
No, unfortunately, from the West Coast right now, you will have to make a stop.
Mm-hmm.
Your clients will have to make a stop. We usually recommend they fly through Florida. There are 3 to 4 flights a day out of Fort Lauderdale, and also another 3 or 4 out of Miami. So between the two cities, there's like 7 flights a day. Our West Coast clients can make it in one day. We often will, you know, encourage them instead, like maybe spend a night in Miami and fly the next morning, just to avoid having to do a red eye or something like that. But like California is actually the second probably biggest destination. So Californians just love to go to Cuba. They're not put off by the distance, that's for sure. It's a popular destination for the West Coast.
David, Jess is asking if there is a single rate for the FAM, but you mentioned everything is based on 2 guests, or you could do.
Yeah, we have it. The pricing there is based on a minimum of 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the point would be, yeah, I don't want you to have to double that price. And we, you know, if you're going literally solo, we would encourage you to have a friend go with. If it's a travel advisor friend, then you don't have to share a room. So if you bring a travel advisor friend, you'll each get your own room. So there will be no single supplement. You'll pay that same rate.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Suzanne, you want to know, is there any chance to be running a virtuoso FAM?
Sure. I mean, you know, this is the thing, and I've talked to Virtuoso about this. So it's like, if we have a FAM and it's made up of virtuoso agents, it's a de facto virtuoso FAM. If their question is like an official virtuoso educational, yeah, why not? I mean, we can do that sort of thing. We're trying to not complicate it, and we're trying to do this so that people have the most flexibility, because we want you to be able to come on a trip and not have to go through a lot of hoops and you know, long application process and that kind of thing. So again, you know, we are the virtuoso on-site for Cuba. We obviously don't only sell to virtuoso advisors. I'm sure there's plenty of advisors on this call that are not necessarily virtuoso, but you know, in theory, every FAM that has just virtuoso advisors on it is a virtuoso FAM. And like I said, we will do agency specific FAMs as well for your particular agency.
Robin,
keep it exclusive.
Martin would like to know, what is the price for the agency exclusive FAM per person?
The reason we didn't put a price is on those kind of FAMs. We will customize it. So it's going to depend on the number of agents that we agree on. There's like a minimum number. It's going to include meals and almost all alcoholic beverages as well. So it's a little harder for me to give you a stated price. It's one of those things that I want to talk to whoever is in charge of the agency first to come up with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very specific. That's why I don't want to just throw something out there. But in general, we will try with an agency FAM. It'll be less than the private FAM, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sima would like to know the name of the resort that you use for the FAM.
The name of what?
Of the resorts, or the Kapinski. I mean, that's what we did.
Oh, yeah.
Night time. So for us,
yes. So we will have you certainly stay at the Kempinski's. And there are 2, so we want you to experience them both. So that's a little bit different than I guess you would do with a client, right? I mean, you are a travel advisor. We want you to you know, see more than one accommodation, but we will also then not necessarily have you spend the night at the boutiques, because they're so small. It's harder then to organize to make sure that there's space available. We'll have you stay at the hotels, but then we will bring you to see the boutiques. We want you to experience them firsthand. And like the one that Dominique stayed at, we will have you probably have lunch there because they have one of the best polydars actually also in Havana. And by the way, just so you know, a 4-night trip, we're going to take you out into the countryside as well. This is not just Havana. And Havana is quite spread out. So, this isn't strictly in the city. You will be going out, you'll be seeing either the gorgeous beaches of Veradero. We'll take you to a lake location called Las Terrazas, which is a different direction heading toward tobacco country. There's a few different options.
Mhm.
So.
Juvita, you want to know the best time to go, not to be crowded and for the weather? What's the best time?
Yeah, so high season, which is really based on weather. Let's leave festive out of this for a minute. Like high season, really, it's a Caribbean location, mid-November to, let's say, end of April. That's the highest season because the weather is the most mild. It's drier, not less humid. May is a nice like shoulder season. Also, the temperatures are pretty nice and the rains haven't started coming in yet. Summer, it's hotter, humid, it becomes more rainy. When we talk about rainy season, of course, in Cuba, it's like, it's a Caribbean destination. So it's that tropical rain comes in the afternoon, it's there for an hour, hour and a half, and then it leaves. It's any time of year. We have clients coming all the time. It's really one of those destinations you can sell it every single month of the year. Even hurricane season, which is traditionally, let's say, September and up to like mid-October, it's just rainy season. If there's no hurricane, it's just rainy season. Hurricane tends to really scare people. And the end of the day, there's very, very few hurricanes that ever really hit Havana. So it's really rare. So,
and you can see on our picture, we were all wearing like summer clothes and it was the end of February. So I think all the months are lovely, definitely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Olivia,
you won't need to bring a lot of clothing.
Olivia wants to know, can someone who has a private jet flying privately to Havana?
That's a great question. And unfortunately, the Trump administration put in some rule that no longer can private jets from the US. So any US owned private jet cannot land in Havana right now. We thought the Biden administration was going to reverse that, but they haven't touched it. So currently, no private US owned private jets. International, no problem.
So
and
from Mexico, from France, from Brazil.
Yes, from other locations, no problem. But if they're a US registered jet, it doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, well, we'll just fly our jet that's a US jet and land in the Bahamas and then fly from there to Havana. That doesn't work. So a US plane, unfortunately, can't land. What we're doing right now for clients like that, of course, like again, we're catering to high end. We have plenty of clients that own their own jets or certainly like to fly private. We just have them land in the private airports in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and jump on the commercial flight. It's 45 minutes. So hasn't been too big of an issue.
Susan is asking, what about the driving in Cuba?
Well, you're not going to be driving, if that's the question.
Or maybe
so
the question
you'll
is,
have a private.
Can the guests drive if they want? But I know
we classic have car. No, the insurance won't permit that. And I'll be honest, these cars are extremely valuable. So you have a private full-time driver. You won't be needing to worry about driving anywhere. But at the end of the day, yeah, you cannot. Literally, you can get behind the wheel for photographs, but you won't be able to drive one yourself.
Roy, you want to know if you're allowed to tip the guide and the driver, and the answer is yes.
Yeah. So for the FAMS, we're encouraging you to tip for sure. For your clients, just so you know, on your client trips, we include base level gratuity for our guides and drivers. Therefore, tipping is never mandatory, but we don't discourage it. It's one of those things. If they love them, they're going to love them. That's really not a question. Probably it's a rhetorical question, but at the end of the day, if they want to give them something at the end, we don't discourage it. That's for sure.
Joanne, you're asking, are they still using the CUC? So I don't know.
No, great question. He's talking about the CUC, which we call the CUC. There used to be, up until literally, this is a pretty new situation right before COVID, where they got rid of this dual currency. So there used to be a special currency that you needed to convert to called the CUC. That's gone. Everyone in Cuba uses the peso. So it's a one currency country now, the peso, the Cuban peso. But just to be clear on that, you will not really be using pesos. You will not be converting to pesos. It makes it easier also. So your clients will be using a hard currency, whether it's US dollars or euros, whatever's easier for the clients. They won't need to convert to pesos.
Thank you. Roman, you wanted to say, can you book anything outside Havana? But I think you mentioned it.
Oh, absolutely. So we do the whole island. The thing that's important when you're thinking about this is, and again, it's all, like I said, it's all custom. We're going to talk to you. We're going to be happy to get on the phone with your clients to explain this. We will not use internal Cuban airlines. They're not safe. They're not reliable. The Cubana airline. And right now, in and out of the US anyway, flights are only going in and out of Havana. So what that means is anytime you're going too far outside into the island, and by the way, the island of Cuba is big. It's the length of California from one end to the other. It is, there's long distances in between each of the bigger cities where it would make sense for people to spend the night. And we want to make sure it's clear that we're going to be driving them. So for example, one of our popular, like, let's say a 6 to 7 night itinerary would include a trip to Cienfuegos and Trinidad. Trinidad's a gorgeous UNESCO World Heritage City. We would have them spend 2 nights, and usually in Trinidad. We prefer that over Cienfuegos. It's a 3.5-hour drive. So they're going to drive there, and they eventually will try to take a slightly different route, but they will circle back because they're going to fly back home from Havana. And therefore, if they go even further into the island, it's going to be significantly more driving. There's always going to be a lot of driving involved. So we just want to make sure that your clients understand that. The majority of travel to Cuba, especially for first timers, is really Havana based. So I would say 70% of our trips, which are run in the range of 4 or 5 nights, they don't move hotels. There's no super long drives, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours out into the country for a day trip, but they stay in the same hotel and they stay in Havana.
Deborah, yes, you mentioned it was for mice, 20 to 40 guests, and David, you said it was okay, any size. Roy, you want
any size?
Roy,
any size. The important point is we will break them up.
Yes.
We'll break them up into smaller groups for daytime, for the touring during the day, so that everyone gets a much better experience, and then bring everybody together for meals, for evening programs, that kind of thing. That's how we handle the mice groups.
Roy, you wanted to review what are the COVID requirements? I think we mentioned it at the beginning.
Did we? I might have. I don't remember mentioning it. Maybe you did. The good news. The good news is there are none. It's done. There's no more COVID requirements. There's no vaccination requirement. There's no PCR testing. Cuba is wide open now. You can go without any fear of that. Yeah.
All right, Maru, you wanted to reconfirm the price for the FAM trip, so that's correct. 2,770 for 2 guests for 4 nights.
Yes, so it's $1,385 a person. Yes.
Sima, what about if we need to stay longer and discover more of Cuba? I will be coming from California, and 4 nights is too short if I travel coast to coast. So you can build up a new FAM. You can.
Like I said, remember, we're a custom trip. We're a custom company. We'll talk to you about it. So you just reach out to us, and we'll talk to you about, what it is you want to do and see, and how much time you have, and we can see what we can work out for you. But I'm going to be very, very frank, because this is what's important. It's about what you're going to be selling to your clients. That's the key. And we have 10 years of experience dealing with this and working with clients who not only are from all over the US demographically, but all over the world. So, I can give you very good insight into this kind of thing. And the key thing will be not just that you're traveling far, but want you to see the places that you're likely to be selling to your clients. That's the important part.
Then we have if you bring someone, it's a king or twins, as you mentioned it. You have, it's as long as you share the same room.
If you want to share the same, we're not going to make a judgment call on your significant other. So you tell us if it's a king bed for you and your significant other, or if it's just a good friend and you need two double beds, then it's two double beds. The point is, if it's another travel advisor, let me just repeat that again, right? If it's another travel advisor, you can have two separate rooms. This is a FAM for travel advisors. What we're doing is offering that you can bring a significant other or friend who is not an advisor, who you enjoy traveling with. And then if you invite a friend to go who's a travel advisor, they can also bring a friend. Create your own group.
And the idea,
like I said, it's a party place. You know, it's fun to have more people. There's no question about it.
So we said the ideal number for the agency farm is still 6 to 8, huh?
6 to 8, yeah. I mean, we've done bigger agency FAMs. You know, if the demand is very high, we can always do a little bit more. But bye, Olivia. So, you know, we can. We're flexible. We're flexible, but I think 6 to 8 is a good number.
And then we can extend to 5 or 6 nights. It's tailor-made. We'll speak to you upon the requirement.
Oh yeah, of course, especially for an agency FAM. Like I said, that's custom.
Low season and high season. I'm reviewing everything. They will sign up to obtain the portal. Sounds wonderful. Thank you for putting this together. Definitely. Okay. Perfect. So I think we've done everything. And Suzanne, you were asking about scuba diving. How is scuba?
Oh, great. Yeah. I actually stopped the slideshow not to go because I had a few things about that going further. Great question. Cuba is a world-class diving destination. The dive sites for those clients that you might have that are really into diving, they might already be aware of it, but it's a bucket list destination. It's called the Gardens of the Queen. We have a very good relationship with there's only one company that runs all the boats out to the gardens. It's an Italian-Cuban joint venture, so we have to work with them. But we have a very special relationship with them, in fact, so that they actually, if you were to work directly with, contact their office, they contact us to do all the pre and post anyway. So the point is, diving, yes, sell it to your dive centered type clients, because it's the kind of diving that they'll never forget. It's Jacques Cousteau Jr. was there a few years ago and said it's one of the last true untouched reefs that's left on the planet. So that's for your avid divers. For people who just maybe not, they just want to do like a day trip. We can do day trip scuba diving too, within about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive from Havana. But it's beautiful reef, that kind of thing. But I'm talking about two separate things. The Gardens of the Queen is a minimum 7-day trip. It's on a live aboard boat.
Yeah. One more question from Roman, who would like to know about the gay travel, since a lot of his clients are gay.
Yes, another great question. Forget what you may have heard about, communist or like socialist countries. Cuba is very LGBTQ friendly. And that's a big growing clientele base for us because of this. The word is starting to spread. So I'm glad you asked that question. So you can also help us spread that word. It is one of those locations, very not only tolerant, there are gay friendly establishments and for nightlife purposes. There's amazing stories to tell. Cuba, so Raul Castro, who is no longer the president, he stepped down, but his daughter Maria is a huge proponent of LGBTQ rights. She brought back the gay pride parade to Havana, which has been happening now for the last, I think, 4 years running. And it's so fascinating. We can bring clients who are interested to see there's a facility that is run by the Cuban government called Senasex, where they actually provide education around to all the schools about, just acceptance. Basically, they provide special education about acceptance, and they provide counseling services for people who are transgender for a full year. And if they are ready and determined to be ready at that point, through their socialized medicine, they actually provide the procedure. The full procedure is covered under socialized medicine. It's a fascinating story. It's one of the few places in the world that this goes on like this. So anyway, probably a longer answer than you might have expected, but the short answer is very, very, very friendly place for that kind of travel, and just a fun place. I mean, I didn't even get into the nightlife, but this is a very spontaneous culture. It's all about the music and the arts and dance and theater. So this is
David, I didn't speak much, but that's what I saw in 3 days. We've been dancing, drinking, but your delicious rum, the cigars. There were music everywhere, huh? Yeah. Everywhere you took, there was some music. So it was really a great 3 days. It's memorable. Celine, you have a question who said, do you get repeat clients or do you get new clients all the time?
This is like this rock star panel we have here. I gotta say, these questions are so good. It's like reminding me of stuff I'm forgetting to tell people. We have such this is the gift that keeps on giving, literally. Like when you sell a trip here, the chances of the client helping you sell another to their friends and family is astronomical. I think like we had a statistic pre-COVID that was like 55% of all of our clients come back again within like 2 years. So, people come on a family trip, they come back with their friends. If they come with a group of guys on a guys trip, they want to come back with their spouses or significant others and do a couples trip. It's that kind of location. Or if they come for a Havana-based, let's say 4-night trip, and they want to come back and see more of the island. Because, so yes, definitely. Repeat business is big.
And the last question from Celine, which private cruise can you arrange? Private cruise.
Private cruise?
Do you do private cruise or the yachts?
So we can do that for the clients that are going to be spending some time anytime at one of the beach locations. We can do like a day type cruise. We're not doing it right now, right out of Havana. It's a complicated situation, and a lot of it has to do with quality of the vessels on offer and that sort of thing. So until there's something that is of the, let's call it the caliber that we know we can comfortably offer, we're not doing just something like that right out of Havana. But we can do it on trips that are a little bit longer, that are already at the beach destinations. Then we can do that kind of thing. If that was the question, they're talking about that kind of a day cruise
on a boat.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to thank everybody for their time. And that was our longest webinar, but I think that was lovely. And thank you all for your interest. And David is definitely the magician behind. And 3 days, I'm happy to go back anytime. You see, that's the beauty of it. It was so good that I would not change anything, David. I will just go back for the same 3 days. Because you could say that.
Well, why not?
And because it was entertaining, and as you said, for us based in Miami, it's 50 minutes, so it's an ideal long weekend. Ideal, huh?
Yes.
So a lot of people are ready. They're packing their bag.
Good. Come.
Yes.
We can't wait to host you and have you experience this for yourself. That's the true message. So just reach out. We'll get all of you there as soon as we can.
And remember that you can take a private Zoom appointment with David Lee on our appointment platform, www.letsconnect365.com. And David will be sending you the recording and the information about the fun trip. Thank you again, everyone, for staying so long with us. It was a pleasure. And thank you, David, also for your time.
Thank you, Dominique. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.